Hey YNR fans! Waving hand, welcome to YNR Trends, your go-to spot for the juiciest Young and the Restless updates, shocking spoilers, and all the drama you can't stop talking about. From surprise returns to scandalous twists, we break it all down for you, every day. So grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right into Genoa City's hottest gossip. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Nick Newman could sabotage his reunion with Sharon Newman in 3 different ways. Let's discuss these ex-partners and the reasons why their most recent romantic endeavors are likely to fail. 1. Nick is unwilling to discuss their current relationship. First of all, there are serious communication issues between Nick and Sharon that could lead to a disaster. Nick appears more content to let things go, but it's obvious that Sharon would like to discuss the kiss in Nice and the near kiss at the coffee shop. If Sharon and Nick were a recent romance, things might be different, but they are longtime lovers with a lengthy history that includes decades of intermittent dating. It's concerning that Nick is unable to have a meaningful discussion regarding their most recent relationship development. 2. Nick struggles with commitment to Sharon. Naturally, that leads to still another obstacle because Nick struggles with commitment to Sharon. A part of Nick is afraid to go too far because he thinks they would hurt each other again and break their relationship. Sharon and Nick will have to put in a lot of effort if they truly want their romance to succeed. This possible reunion attempt may fail badly because Nick doesn't appear to be able to achieve that. 3. Everything might change if Nick and Kane form an alliance. Nick's rekindled romance with Sharon could be hampered by Kane-Ashby drama, even if he were to miraculously overcome his communication and commitment issues. Nick's plan to team up with Kane and play the good cop to Adam Newman's evil cop already made Sharon appear uneasy. Nick is becoming more involved in the Newman family company in an attempt to form a Kane alliance on Victor Newman's orders, which always brings out the darker side of him. Furthermore, according to YNR spoilers, Nick might become more involved with Phyllis Summers as a result, which is usually a recipe for trouble. Nick might quickly become closer to Phyllis in this fashion, which could put an end to whatever he's attempting to rebuild with Sharon. In summary, there are solid reasons to believe that Sharon and Nick will not lead a happy life together. Let's hope their friendship endures even if their romantic reboot fails because Nick might destroy this potential reunion with Sharon. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Sharon might change her mind about Nick and what she wants from him. Keep an eye out for any upcoming love shakeups. Claire's revenge plot worries Nikki, and Phyllis begins to question Nick's intentions. Monday, August 18, 2025, on today's episode of The Young and the Restless, Lily and Kane are at a standstill. Kane adds another name to Holden's list, and Nate has some serious concerns for Audra. If Kane gives up on his dreams for Genoa City, Lily offers to help him make amends with the children in his special train car, which is adorned with monograms. Ashby urges Lily to open the door to the idea that they might have a future after they argue over their trust difficulties. They promised each other forever. Relationships die, she yells as he reminds her. He decides to speak to the kids alone because they are unable to agree, believing that they will finally comprehend. Holden shows up and says he's there to talk about a job. Lily insists on specifics. After telling her that he is in charge of certain property, they start talking about what a great man Damien was. She tells Holden to keep away or watch his back and questions her ex about rehiring someone he fired. Holden acknowledges that Damien played a significant role in his life, but he also expresses gratitude for his work. She issues another warning, informs Kane that she will not grant him any of the ridiculous requests he has made, and then quickly leaves. Holden says he's sorry for disturbing Kane. Ashby tells him not to be disrespectful to Lily when he refers to her as his angry ex. Kane requests that he include Nick Newman on the list of those he wants him to be close to. He's curious about his thoughts. In Crimson Lights, Nikki stumbles upon Claire and offers to keep the tissue box in case she needs to mourn over Cole anymore. However, her granddaughter tells her that's not required. She is appreciative that everyone, excluding Victor, cares. She is choosing to leave him because of what he did to her, which cannot be forgiven. After everything she endured from her aunt, she and Kyle shouldn't have to cope with her grandfather's opinions. No one should stop her from grasping life with both hands, Nikki concurs. At last, Claire acknowledges that she is concerned about something else. It must be that despicable Audra, Nikki surmises. Grandma is shocked to learn that Audra even fabricated a kiss with Kyle when Claire lashes out about her viciousness. They both concur that there is a problem with that woman. I feel the impulse to fight back just as filthy since I am not a small, timid mouse. Claire says. Nikki is worried about this. Claire reassures her that there won't be any poisoning or kidnapping, but when Nate returns, he needs to know the truth. She declares, I am going to blow Audra out of the water. Nate and Audra sit on a seat in Chancellor Park after returning from Chicago. After Damien's burial, they are worn out and concerned about Amy, who is not eating or drinking. Nate wants to discuss what went wrong with Vibrante, but Audra reminds him he must also grieve. Pacing says she cut off Victor's funds because she had a gut feeling he would be manipulating her. After all the tedious conversations they've had about this, Nate doesn't understand this. Since this appears like more than just cold feet, Nate needs to know what else transpired with Victor. Although Audra is angry, he is certain that something is amiss. She asserts that her self-respect is not for sale and that this is equivalent to her leaving Tucker. With no money, what would she do? Hastings asks. Audra promises to accompany Sally to work. Although Nate is relieved that she is no longer seeing Victor, he is still certain that she is keeping something from him, and he is not pleased about it. At Society, Nick is sipping a beer when Phyllis jumps on him. He laughs when she speaks Italian to him. They discuss their daughter's life in Milan and how she no longer requires their approval to live her life as she pleases. As she avoids the gooey eyes of Kyle and Claire, Phyllis rolls her eyes. They miss their kid, but she's not tough. She tends to leave when things become rough. As they make their way to the couches, Nick shuffles the subject to Kane. They discuss nice brutality. When he says that he wants to be Kane's ally, Phyllis gives him a cocky look. Nick believes she is being cruel when she increases her sarcasm. She finds his shift in attitude about Ashby strange. He says that everyone would benefit from a détente. This isn't the moment to shake hands, but Phyllis doesn't want to start a costly conflict. After Phyllis is the closest thing Kane has to an inner circle, Nick is certain that he is feeling alone after leaving Amanda. Nick and Phyllis approach Lily as she enters Society. She describes the twins' anguish upon discovering their father's other life. How can they possibly forgive him? According to perky Phyllis, children are like that and they will move on. Lily doesn't think Kane will even confront it. She says, he will have to deal with me if he hurts them any more than he has. Kane will tell the twins what? Kane, who is by himself in his train car, contacts Charlie after finishing a drink and leaves a message asking him to call his sister so he can explain the situation. They have a great deal to discuss. In the park, Phyllis saw Daniel strumming a guitar. She told him it was in his blood and praised his performance. She also mentioned how happy she was. The redhead remarked, I feel like everything is finally coming together. Daniel acknowledged that it had been a long time since he had seen his mother in this state. It seemed like Kane and Phyllis were prepared to take over the world, Daniel joked. Phyllis smiled and said, we are. Daniel's critical tone toward her business endeavors annoyed her. Daniel expressed his satisfaction that Phyllis was focusing on her life rather than his. She advised him to consider his future. Daniel joked, I will if you will. What does that mean? Phyllis inquired. He pondered whether Phyllis's positivity concealed her experience of being abducted. She said that she would always worry about Daniel and pleaded with him to stop discussing it. Phyllis informed her son, Daniel, it's just you and me against the world. Given that Phyllis's previous professional relationship with the Abbott heir didn't work out, Daniel was curious about how she would collaborate with Billy and Kane. Daniel was requested by Phyllis to think her agreement with Kane was good. All of them are abstracts, according to Daniel. Phyllis stated that she was unable to do so. Daniel commented that it sounded more like Phyllis had a wish list than a plan. Kane was targeting Chancellor, Chabot, and Newman, Phyllis disclosed. He intended to combine them into a single large corporation. Daniel laughed when he saw Phyllis working with Kane. This was a big plan, Phyllis said. She revealed Kane's plan in detail, which shocked Phyllis, who said he would not be pleased. She told Daniel that it would be difficult to carry out Kane's plan. Daniel noted that all of the businesses he wishes to acquire are privately held and are owned by families. What part did Phyllis play in this difficult mission? He asked. According to Phyllis, Kane admires her business sense. There are other people with excellent resumes out there, so Daniel questioned why Kane wanted to work with Phyllis. Daniel stated that he would not share Kane's proposal with anyone for the straightforward reason that they would believe he was crazy. He requested that his mother leave Kane as soon as possible. Daniel brought up the fact that he had told his mother not to start a business with Billy. Daniel went on to say that since Kane's target enterprises are family-owned, his scheme will destroy family legacies. Phyllis shrugged and said, Kane will do this with or without me. In the event that Nick, Lily, and Summer were all injured, Daniel questioned whether Phyllis would mind. Phyllis promised to keep Summer safe. According to Daniel, Phyllis would work for Kane rather than the other way around. Kane has no loyalty, he added. Phyllis began to cry over her experience, but she clarified that, despite certain negative events, she found that going to Nice was beneficial. She acknowledged that she was unable to put all her trust in Kane. While Kane was giving her a route out of the darkness, Phyllis implored Daniel to stop. Daniel was not going to give up. Phyllis pleaded with her son for help. Daniel predicted that his mother's crazy scheme would fail and that she would suffer much more severe burns. Daniel declared, Kane cannot possibly pull this off. He went on to say that his efforts will only incite the fury of any firm he targets. Daniel picked up his instrument and left, saying, You have to leave, and you must leave now. Nate came to visit Victoria. He apologized for being unable to make it to Cole's memorial service. According to Vicky, Nate was grieving the loss of his brother Damien. Vicky claimed that she had intended to pay him a visit. When Nate was a doctor, he claimed to have been amazed by the strength people gained from being with others who had suffered comparable losses. A friendly remark or a glance can sometimes make a difference, according to Nate. Vicky claimed that she understood Nate's situation better than most others. Vicky offered a glass of lemonade to Nate. About Cole's service, he inquired. Although Vicky was relieved that it was ended, she expressed concern for Claire. She's in more pain than she wants to admit, Vicky remarked. How could she assist her, she wondered. Nate claimed that he was experiencing the same sensation as Claire. Vicky told Nate about Victor's conflict with Kyle. Nate claimed to understand Victor's potential. Nate remarked, Your father's antics are nothing new to me. Vicky claimed that she needed to vent about her father. According to Nate, Damien's service is scheduled for tomorrow. Vicky expressed concern for Amy. According to Nate, he assured Amy that she could depend on him. He went on to say that it was heartbreaking how cruel Damien's death was. Nate was worried that Amy was turning back into herself. Vicky advised him to wait for her. Vicky remarked, Thank God she has you to help her get through this. Victoria's reference to Audra had a tone that Nate noticed. Is there a problem? He asked. According to Vicky, she didn't want to aggravate Nate further. She should speak her piece, Nate said. Victoria had no idea why Victor and Audra would work together. Nate claimed that because Audra broke up with Victor, their union was finished. He thought she was real. Vicky had doubts. According to Nate, Audra prioritized her morals over her loyalty to Victor. Audra was a bit of an outcast in Genoa City, Nate said. He asked Vicky for further information, but Claire's arrival cut him off. She claimed to have a message for him. Vicky informed Claire that Nate would shortly go for Damien's service. Claire changed her mind about discussing Audra with Nate. Vicky and Claire were thanked by Nate for their presence. When things get tough, we all need someone to rely on, Vicky remarked. Victoria asked her daughter if she was going to tell Nate about Audra and Kyle after he had left. Claire claimed that she would have told Nate about Audra if Vicky hadn't intervened. After Claire kissed Kyle at society, she informed her mother about Audra's most recent engagement. Claire concurred that because Nate was burying his brother, this was not the time to dump anything on him. Claire claimed that although Nate has been a terrific friend, she would warn him about Audra's viperous nature as soon as he returned from Chicago. Audra assured Kyle that she could woo him in the meanwhile. She took hold of him and kissed him. When Claire came into society and declared she wanted to know the answer to that as well, he withdrew and asked her what she was doing. Leveraging Claire's timing, Audra asserted that the kiss was mutual. According to Kyle, Audra was insane. Audra hinted that if Claire hadn't come, things might have gone beyond. Kyle questioned Audra's deception. Kyle was accused by Audra of having feelings for her. Kyle claimed that by causing friction between Claire and Kyle, Audra was unable to preserve the financial health of her business. Since Audra was the type of woman Kyle genuinely desired, Audra offered Claire her sympathies. What happened in Nice, she insisted, was reciprocal. Claire questioned Audra about why she would trust her. When Claire entered society, Audra urged her to trust what she could see with her own eyes. When Kyle attempted to depart with Claire, Audra reminded him that while he could flee, he would be unable to conceal the truth. If she hadn't shown up, she questioned Claire if Kyle would have told her about the kiss. Audra was curious as to why Kyle had not immediately informed Claire of what had transpired in Nice. Cole had recently passed away, Kyle noted. Claire was asked by Audra if she knew her lover well. Claire joked that she was more familiar with him than Audra. Audra said she will see Kyle shortly before leaving. Kyle advised Claire to keep the witch out of her thoughts. Kyle pleaded with Claire not to think she was in control as he followed her out of society. Claire claimed to know how to reverse the situation while Kyle answered a call. When Nate and Audra met at Crimson Lights, they discussed taking a car to Chicago to attend Damien's memorial. Both of them are concerned about Amy. Nate claimed that when he visited Vicky, he discovered that she and Claire were both furious about something. Vicky interrupted Claire before she could say anything else, he added. That's strange, Audra remarked. Nate questioned whether Audra and Victor's breakup was related in any way to Vicky and Claire's attitudes. Why would Claire be aware of her arrangement with Victor, Audra wondered. Nate advised against worrying about it at this moment. He went to give Amy a call. According to Audra, Little Miss Claire would go to war if she so desired.